Now, children, teenagers, and adults. If you remember the 2000s at all, if you ever went to GameStop back when, well, I can't even say it was profitable at the time, but back whenever it was extremely popular, and that's where you went to go get your midnight release games, you know about Game Informer. Well, guess what? They're back. And yes, this comes to us from Game Informer itself. It has been bought out by a new company. They got everybody back. So they're going to do everything, but just a little bit more unfettered this time. Let's go and watch a portion. This will be edited, a portion of their video welcoming themselves back. And by the way, welcome.
We've got some big news to share today. Game Informer is back, and so is 100% of the team that was bringing you Game Informer when we shut down this past summer.
That means production, design, video, editorial, everybody.
Everything you loved about Game Informer before is coming back, but we're rethinking it and evolving it to be bigger and better.
Of course, we were devastated when Game Informer shut down this past summer because we loved working together as a team, but the thing that came as a shock was the outpouring of support and enthusiasm that came from you as readers and from people around the industry for what Game Informer had meant to them.
All of that is coming back, including an all-new approach to Game Informer magazine, both in print and digital forms.
The short version is that Gunzilla Games purchased Game Informer. Game Informer now operates under an independent entity called Game Informer Inc.
Editorial independence has been foundational for Game Informer ever since it was started back in the 90s, and it will continue to be a sacred element of our operation going forward.
All of Game Informer's editorial content is 100% selected by our editorial team without any outside influence, including from the new owners. In fact, that editorial integrity is something the new owners insisted upon as strongly as we did. Our team today considers ourselves stewards of this legacy of Game Informer that has been built up over 30 plus years.
Stay tuned in the coming months for more information about the relaunch of our physical magazine. But in the meantime, you can go to GameInformer.com right now and catch up on a ton of reviews of games that came out while we were shut down.
It's belated, but you can find our 2024 Game of the Year awards on GameInformer.com right now.
And the people who
we
play
didn't
games
want
from all
this
around
little
the world.
gap in Game
More
Informer
robust
history
membership
to mean
and
that we
subscription
didn't
offers are
celebrate
on the
the
way
year
in
of
the coming weeks.
2024.
But if you'd like to
And
support
we also
Game
just
Informer
really
right
miss
now,
arguing with
you
each
can
other.
sign up for early benefits today.
Now, there are a couple of things that I have to say just as this news was released. Obviously, everyone has their commentary on it. I have not read Game Informer since basically around 2016. But one thing that I do know, because I've done videos on this before, I did it whenever they were actually announced they were closing down. GameStop is an absolutely horrible company. You should never work there, but cherish the friendship that you made along the way. Just get the hell out of there as soon as you can. But they used to be in charge of Game Informer. The thing is that Game Informer actually had not only the best artwork, the best cover designs, but it just gave you all the information on the new games that are coming out. It got you hyped for stuff, and it didn't have a slant. Now, does Game Informer nowadays have a slant? These are the questions that I really want to ask whenever it comes to all this stuff. If they're just sit there and squabbling all day, that means differing of opinions. It's not going to be an echo chamber. That's one thing that we love. That's one thing that resonates with our side of the internet. Now, there's another part of it too that I've heard people kind of, I wouldn't say complain, but it was just an issue that I was like, we need to pay attention to this a little bit more, because magazines don't really work that much anymore. But the fact that they're bringing it back to physical media, I think we'll have, and as long as they're doing a good job with it, I think we'll have a big swath of folks that specifically subscribe to the paperback edition of that magazine, because we want to preserve physical media. Because everything going to digital, one powder hours, one blip, you don't got nothing anymore. It's all gone. Or the platform that you're using, they decide that you don't own that thing that you already paid for. Because they can do that. They have the rights for that. Going back to physical media, and by the way, they will have an online presence as well. But going back to physical and online, I think is a great move, because you actually you get to have the artwork in your hand. You get to have all of that. Nobody can take that from you. The only thing that can is a house fire. So just make sure your smoke detectors are working and the batteries are there. I'm talking to you black people. But I'm actually extremely happy about this. It only took a couple of months for someone to, or not only for someone, but for a company to give them the money to look at, hey, y'all were doing a good thing. I know you were under this oppressive heel of GameStop. They basically stopped you at every single pivot and point along the way. We're not going to do that. We want you to do what you're going to do. We see how the gaming industry is absolutely thriving despite everyone else's best efforts. The actual gaming industry and gaming community is thriving. Y'all were a big part of that. We want you to continue to doing what you're doing. They've been around since 1991. Golly, 30 years now. They're a mainstay of it all. Hell yeah, we want to keep them going. Good on you, Game Informer. Don't fuck it up with politics. That's all I could say. This is Mouth of Malty. And I am Malty. And I poke myself in the eye. But y'all have a great day. Leave anything you have to say down in the comment section below. We love you, and we take care of each other. That includes you, you bastard. Bye.